There we go. Sorry, I was just chilling in my mind palace for a split second there. Don't worry about it. Greetings and felicitations, assorted children of the internet. I am the Logician, not the Magician, at least not the last time I checked, but I don't know. I've seen and done stranger things. So, it is once again on a whim Wednesday, and honestly, I had such a good time, even though you can tell it, just getting unreasonably angry at the last thing we watched for On a Whim Wednesday, which was Alien Planet. And the thing is, I've seen Alien Planet before. I've watched it several times when I was younger, and even with all the evident inaccuracies in the presentation, I still had fun watching it with all of you. And that got me to thinking, what else in that same vein could I watch for this particular day of the streaming week? And that's when I remembered another speculative evolution documentary series called The Future is Wild. Now, as you can probably imagine, it is very much what is on the tin. It is a quote-unquote nature documentary, or docu-fic, as it were, looking into how life could evolve on this planet into the far distant future. Now, there's been a number of series like this. One of the more, I suppose, reasonably famous examples being, what was it, Life After Man? Something like that. Basically, how all that we have built and all that we have left behind would gradually degrade and collapse in mankind's absence. Which is fascinating in and of itself, but since I am still on my bullshit of being hyperfixated with clips from nature documentaries, I figured this would still be in that same vein, and once again, to spare all of you the potential unpleasantness of seeing actual animals being put in actual danger, this would probably be a fair substitute. So, without further ado, I think it is, in fact, about time we got into the meat and potatoes of tonight's stream. So, once again, keep in mind, this came out in 2002, originally. So, some of the visual effects, which is to say all the visual effects, will be just a smidge dated. Though, once again, I don't think any of us came into this expecting full realism. Especially from the fucking PNG tuber. But I digress. I think it's time we got to the actual viewing. Because, hey, the future is in fact wild and extremely uncertain at the moment. So let's focus on the aminals for the time being, and see how they will fare with the actual hellscape that we are faced with now, far into the future where it is hopefully all but fucking over.
Imagine a world millions of years in the future. A world where evolution has written a new chapter in the story of life.
Damn. Bro just bitch slapped whatever that was out of the way.
Has written a new chapter in the story of life.
Damn, okay. Also, as always, please do let me know if the volume is too low, too high. Just, again, I always get pretty anal about these types of things as an audio mixer. Audio is good so far. Excellent. So, let us proceed then.
The world is inhabited by very strange creatures, like nothing the Earth has ever seen.
That's saying something given how weird life is now. For example, I only just found out the other day that there are multiple species of birds of paradise. I thought there was just the one. And one of them attracts mates by getting rid of all the leaves on the forest floor in the area where he wants to dance and court the female, and inflates a part of his feathers that is vividly green. Wacky shenanigans!
Planet Earth is dominated by humans. There are over 6 billion of us.
Give or take.
But what would happen to the planet if there were no people? Just imagine that people were to disappear from this world. Many familiar animals, the big cats, the bears, and the wolves, already endangered, already under threat from us, will disappear in a few thousand years.
This is under the assumption that we disappear? That they will, in fact, disappear if we do? That the only hope for the survival of these endangered species is the species that put them in danger to begin with? Maybe I'm misreading the message here, but this is a odd take, my guy.
The planet and the survivors will carry on without us, and evolution, natural selection, will create new and bizarre life.
Just a short tangent before we continue. It always struck me as bizarre, and I know it's a simple, like, pronunciation difference, but it always struck me as odd that people with a UK accent, whether they're from Great Britain or... I'm not sure if this carries over to Australia and New Zealand, but the fact that they pronounce evolution like evolution. It sounds like they're saying evolution but evil. Evil evolution. Evolution. I don't know, seems like some bullshit Dr. Evil would throw out into the world. I will progress mankind's evolution in this particular phase unless you give me $1 billion. I was going for Dr. Evil, ended up with Kermit the Frog on Ritalin. Liquid hot magma. Welcome to the future. It's awful.
These future worlds, millions of years from now, are populated by strange creatures. But they're not just fantasy. These worlds are experiments in the imagination of some of today's top scientists, based on what they know about the world now.
If we look around the world right now, we see a huge number of very different things. We're going to
look at this motherfucker. I'm sorry. I'm just... Of all the things for me to comment on, it shouldn't be the way this professor is dressed, but, like... Man's out here with his t-shirt tucked into his pants. Well, not t-shirt, but, like, his shirt tucked into his pants like this with the slick down hair, looking like... He sounds and looks like if Jim Henson went full corpo.
you would never in your wildest dreams invent, and organisms you couldn't possibly imagine could make their lives that way. Beetles that live off of tiny bubble aqualungs underwater, or the rhinoceros. Imagine the rhinoceros. If you didn't know they existed, would you have drawn one?
Jim Henson. I mean, here's the thing. If he had lived long enough, we might have seen him gone down the route of George Lucas. It is, in fact, a terrifying thought.
But how could scientists predict the future course of evolution?
I'm sorry. I have to also, like... We just have a prime example of the fucking Pacific tree octopus here. For those of you not in on the joke, the Pacific tree octopus is a cryptid, or not even a cryptid, just a sort of, like, joke of an animal here in the Pacific Northwest. A bit of a meme where, like, I think someone threw out a bunch of, like, posters one day saying, like, save the Pacific tree octopus, it is endangered. And they just put out a photoshopped image of an octopus in a tree. In fact, one moment. Let's see. Here we go. Help save the endangered Pacific Northwest tree octopus. It is a whole goddamn website dedicated to this. And again, lest anyone forget, this is a fucking joke. There is no such thing as the Pacific Northwest tree octopus. However, it is somewhat of an inside joke for a lot of people on the Pacific Northwest. Ah, my word. Like, they're still posting shit. Like... I mean, I will say, like, they're at least showing imagery having to do with actual discoveries of cephalopods. Which, another brief tangent, by the way, cephalopods are fucking brilliant when it comes to invertebrate animals. Like, their capacity for tool use, camouflage, just general escape and hunting strategies and self-preservation, they are fascinating, fascinating animals. Like, I'm relatively certain the octopus, I forget which species of octopus is considered the most intelligent, but among cephalopods, like, octopi I do believe are the more intelligent. But then again, saying something is more or less intelligent very much comes down to the parameters by which you define intelligence. Like, a lot of human beings will point to an octopus and say, oh, it can't speak English, it can't write a write a sonnet or paint a painting, it's not intelligent. Motherfucker, it has abilities and practical intelligence, the likes of which cannot be matched by human beings. Anyway, tangent over. Yeah, back to Gazora here, and I do appreciate the Toho references there, Nicholas, thank you.
From studying the past, we can see certain trends in animals and animal evolution. And we can say that in the future, certain things are going to result because of circumstances developing in a certain way.
So there are a whole series of rules, as it were, of how life has evolved, how life has changed and adapted through time, that we can test by taking our understanding of the present day and looking back in the past. It is no great leap of faith, then, to turn around and go in the other direction to the future, to go forward and create some of the organisms which are unusual, imaginative, but possible.
This guy looks like he's been eating Big Macs for every day for you. I mean, I will say it looks like this guy works out at the library. Absolutely. He's got a bit of a Jack Blackbeard situation going on. Apparently takes his fashion sense after Matt Smith. I was gonna say the Amish beard. It do be sort of Amishy. All that's missing is the coat and hat.
That we can test by taking our understanding of the present day and looking back in the past. It is no great leap of faith, then, to turn around and go in the other direction to the future. To go...
He went on his spring and decided to be signed. Is that what they call it? I always forget what they call that whole trek out into the real world from Amish settlements. Also, another choice quality reference there, Nicholas. Thank you. Rumspringa? Sounds like a drink.
Go forward and create some of the organisms which are unusual, imaginative, but possible.
This team of scientists created 3 periods in the future, The first is 5 million years from now.
Damn. I mean, that's some colossal fucking cosmic power right there. Haven't heard about shit like that since the creationist story from Legend of Zelda.
When life is challenged by a new ice age. Anything that survives here has had to adapt quickly to a freezing, glacial world. The next future world, 100 million years from now, presents the opposite challenge to life. This world is hot and humid. And has been since the end of the Ice Age, giving evolution a long time to shape the animals of this hothouse world.
Fucking... yeah, no Gamera's coming to town. I do love these little fucking... like... Just go back to this little...
animals of this hothouse world.
Windows XPS transition effect here.
And finally, the scientists chose a period 200 million years from now, when the Earth is unrecognizable.
Oh look, it's Cochet. Also, yes, Octorok real.
One giant continent and one global ocean. But even in 200 million years' time, the geography of the planet is not hard to predict.
We know that the continents are moving. We can even measure the rate of movement. For example, the Atlantic Ocean is opening just about the same rate as fingernails grow. Australia is moving northwards at an even faster rate. So with the right computer modeling, we can predict where continents will finish up.
And this
I mean, that is a correct assessment. Pangea 2 is going to eventually become a thing. At least as far as current geographical or even geological projections are concerned. Like, now for the uninitiated, Pangea was the supercontinent that first appeared on Earth some several hundred million years ago. Back before we have the continents we know today. Back before they had broken up into the current set of continents. No, you're going to get invaded by Spite. Oh god, yeah, no, that's a really good point, Cochet. Like, once Australia gets absorbed back into Pangea 2, all that shit is gonna be let loose. The giant evolutionary prison, the greatest evolutionary prison break of all time. Man. My word. In fact, one moment. I'm going to... Yeah, no, fuck it. I will actually do this, because it's something I was tempted to the show on stream, because I have seen this before. But, like... I feel it's still worth sharing. Because, like, it's... where is it? Where the fuck is it? I know it is around here somewhere. This is topical, I promise. Because, like... This is less to do with, like... a point of time in the future. And just what the fuck we have to deal with right now. And it is fucking... terrifying. Here it is. Here it fucking is. So, I'm sure many of you have probably seen this pop up in your recommended feed at some point. This is just going to be a compilation of facts about various species in Australia that we should all be very fucking afraid of.
Australia has a lot of spiders, but recently we found a new one, because of course we fucking did. And the new one is the most certified Australia moment I've ever seen. For a bit of context, one of the several thousand spider species we are home to is the Sydney funnelweb, the deadliest spider on the planet. Because of course it's down here. Where the fuck else did you think you were going to find it? These scary looking fuckers are highly venomous and can flatline you with a bite in 15 minutes. And if you think wearing thick clothes will save you, be aware the bastards have fangs long enough to punch through shoe leather. Now, why do I bring these little nightmares up? What is the one thing worse than a spider rocking armor-piercing rounds that can send you to heaven with same-day delivery? A bigger spider rocking the same perk setup. That's right, Australian scientists have found a brand new species of this funnelweb that is even bigger. How much bigger? Well, the standard Sydney funnelweb grows to around 5 centimetres or 2 inches. And I mean, if you're asking me, 2 inches is more than enough. 2 inches is actually fucking huge. By comparison, this is the new one. It's twice the fucking size, cunt. 4 inches of 8-legged menace to the animal kingdom. But that isn't even the best part. You see, do you know what they named this thing? Do you know what professional scientists named a supersized version of the most dangerous spider on the entire fucking planet? The Newcastle Big Boy. Deadliest spider on the entire fucking globe. Big Boy. Only in Australia.
So yeah, that's a thing. And that's just the tip of the fucking iceberg. To say nothing of the stonefish, cassowary, the gimpy, the saltwater crocodile, the koalas, which are less scary and more just completely fucking useless. Tarantula hawk wasp, Komodo dragons, the inland tapir, blue-ringed octopus, the mantis shrimp, the cone snail, which, by the way, has the deadliest fucking poison on the planet that we are aware of, for which there is no antivenom. The anteater, and the huntsman spider, which is actually kind of harmless. It's just kind of spooky. These are all on the same fucking continent. All on the same fucking continent. Nowhere else. Just Australia. And Australians wonder why no one else wants to come visit. Why there are so few people willing to pay an evolutionary conjugal visit. Huntsman is also apparently the Australian version of Dang Longlegs. Oh yeah, no, it's like actually a big fucking help in households where like if there is a huntsman spider in your house, you can guarantee that nothing else in the way of pests are, because they will eat any bugs or vermin that are inhabiting your house. In fact, So, once again, I need to stress, arachnophobia warning. They gave a bit of a warning earlier in the video, but just a little piece, a publicity piece on the huntsman spider.
Australia's scariest spider is hiding a deep secret. But what is it? Well, introducing the huntsman, native to the land down under, and the #1 cause of tourists absolutely shitting themselves on camera. And look, in defense of said tourists, I will be the first to admit, yeah, this looks scarier than a f***ing job application. Those gangly ass legs and the hair make him look like Slender Man's testicle. Now, as if having a negative charisma stat wasn't bad enough, I regret to inform you that the huntsman spider grows up to 30 centimeters in size, making it the largest spider on the planet by leg span and legally allowing Subway to market him as a foot long. Now, being the spider equivalent of a Ford F-150, you'd think he'd have the common decency to be slow, you know, tank build. Unfortunately, the huntsman is f***ing turbocharged. Now, it's usually at this point in the video that I would inform you that he is also highly venomous, because it's Australia. However, that's his big secret. The huntsman is a big sweetheart. You see, despite looking like an SCP, huntsmen are incredibly timid, and on the rare occasion they do bite, their venom is harmless. In fact, seeing one of these bad boys in your house is a blessing in disguise, because if you see a huntsman in your home, I guarantee you won't see any annoying ass flies or mosquitoes, because he's eaten them. You see, he understands he's big enough that he should be paying rent, and so he contributes to the household in pest control. I personally have had one of these bad boys as an 8-legged roommate, and I can tell you they're pretty good company. Except for the part where they cause car crashes. Yeah, you see, huntsmen like to hide in tight spaces and cracks, and they do it by flattening out their body to fit into the gap. Now, in the house, that usually means you'll just find them behind a painting, but when you're flying down the highway at 110k an hour and decide to flip down the sun visor because God is trying to flashbang you, yeah, they like to sleep in there and you've just dropped one into your lap. Now, whatever you do, don't panic or you're going to crash the...
So yeah, no pun intended, but a little crash course on some of the species that just vibe in Australia and what the fuck we can expect, at least in terms of ancestry, once that big fucking geological prison comes crashing back into the rest of us. Oh yeah, I'm just saying, I hope the huntsmen are still on our side at that point, Cochet. That is all I am saying.
This allows scientists
and predict moving north, opening just about the same rate as fingernails grow. Australia is moving northwards at an even faster rate. So with the right computer modeling, we can predict where continents will finish up.
And this allows scientists to predict the future climate. The series begins in 5 million years' time, when the ice caps have advanced from the poles and much of the planet is in the grip of a bitter cold.
Oh yeah, no, Japan's just kind of fucked. Like, that far into the future, Cochet. Like, honestly, most human settlements are going to be irreparably fucked by the shifting of continents in the long run. Because humans like to build shit to last, to stay in one fucking place. Unfortunately, that's not how geography works. The planet is always fucking moving, and if you live anywhere near a fault line, you're already aware of that. And so, come this far into the future, most shit that we just expect to stick around cannot and will not. My problem, I can get... Okay, Jesus Christ.
We live in an ice age today. But ice ages follow repeating patterns. 10,000 years of relative warmth are followed by 100,000 years of intense cold. All of human civilization occurred in one brief 10,000-year warm period. In 5 million years' time, the ice caps will advance yet again, covering...
Real optimistic, my guy. I mean, once again, number one, recorded back in 2002. Number two, I joke, but there actually has been significant repairs made to the holes in the ozone layer, so that is not the primary threat. However, global warming, climate change in general, is still very much an active thing that is happening currently. So, it is possible that we will still see this general shift towards an ice age 5 million years' time. But there will come soft rains, ass. Yeah. But I mean, like, here's the thing. This is also very much assuming human beings just sort of out of the picture. So, you know.
In 5 million years' time, the ice caps will advance yet again, covering much of Europe in 2-kilometer thick ice. But there'll still be life on these frozen wastelands. Creatures that live in today's Arctic, like polar bears, Arctic foxes, and timber wolves, will disappear. Extinct.
Oh, God.
There are no whales and dolphins, yet something has taken their place. This isn't a mammal, it's a bird. The gannet whale. 5 million years isn't very long in terms of evolution.
I was going to say, this is a bit of a leap for 5 million years. Like, 50 million years maybe. Because, like, anatomically modern human beings have been around for anywhere between 2 million years to 100,000. Oh, you got something important to show me? Alright, what fresh hell have you to rot? Don't think I used those words correctly, but either way, what have you got to show me? Ah, my word. I'm waiting on bated breath. I'm assuming whatever you have for me is loading. And I am assuming that is relevant to these big boys on screen. You know, let me just... get a little suitable background music. There we go. You know? You know? I should have guessed that this would have something to do with Bloodborne. I mean, you're not wrong. To one degree or another, everything does just eventually become Bloodborne. Honestly, perfect music for that reveal.
So animals won't look very different from today. These are shag rats, giant rodents, and they show how animals adapt to the cold. Arctic animals tend to be large, with a long, thick, shaggy coat to keep them warm. They have short, stocky legs and small ears to reduce heat loss. Shag rats can survive in the open in temperatures as low as -50. The real threat comes from a predator.
I mean, yeah, this dude just be looking like a capybara. Yeah, I keep hearing Chad rats as well, I'm not gonna lie.
The snow stalker.
I mean, that's just a polar bear. Chad rat versus virgin capybara.
This may be an ice age, but not everywhere is a frozen wasteland. This isn't snow, but salt. A vast salt desert has replaced what was once the clear blue water of the Mediterranean. The Earth's continents don't move far in 5 million years, but when Africa collides with Europe, the Straits of Gibraltar will be closed. An Ice Age climate is very dry, so this will have a devastating effect on the Mediterranean.
I will say, I've always been a fan of the aesthetic of, like, salt deserts. Just the shapes that arise from that type of phenomenon. Crystallization in general, and how it takes on just fascinating fucking shapes, has always been an interest of mine. Like, again, just to go on a comparatively far more brief tangent. Like, just take a look at this shit. This is not man-made. This is shit that just grew out of the ground. This is a mineral. It is just shit that has been on this planet since long before any of us. Yeah, no, exactly. And, like, as another example, you also have shit like this. This is literally just food. Yeah, no, she already is a crystal gem, Nicholas. That is bismuth. That is just what real-ass bismuth looks like. Not what's on screen right now. This is Romanesco broccoli. Also shit that just grows. Not something man-made. White boy bring up the cartoon woman. And, like, so... when I see shit like salt deserts, it's just another example of nature being far more fucking creative than any of us can ever claim to be. I will say, with this outline here, it makes it look like some gangly Bigfoot just fell over dead and the local cryptid cops came by and drew a chalk outline of him.
The Mediterranean will dry out until it becomes one vast salt pan. There will be small lakes of hypersaline water left behind, the only water in the Mediterranean. But the old holiday islands of Cyprus and Malta and Crete will stand up as small mountains in the middle of this sea of salt.
Not much.
That one guy in Undertale that's not actually in Undertale, but everyone wants to fuck him anyway. I mean, yeah, I can see him. There do be a little bit of Gaster in there. You're not wrong.
Vast salt pan. There will be small lakes of hypersaline water left behind, the only water in the Mediterranean. But the old holiday islands of Cyprus and Malta and Crete will stand up as small mountains in the middle of this sea of salt.
Not much can survive in the center of these salt flats, but there is something living here. Cryptiles.
You know?
Cryptiles share the desert with billions of flies, their only source of food.
Fucking earthbound ass music. Mom, doing it, I'm walking!
Of the old holiday islands, the Gryken hunts along the deep, narrow crevices.
Oh my god. Oh, that's... that... No, we need to see that again. Judging Perry's books in space over that clip will be any different, you know? Oh, that is... That's some fucking Henry's Amazing Animals ass animation there. I mean, God, that did come out in the late 90s, and this came out in the early aughts, so yeah, that would still be the general quality of animation at the time, now that I think about it. I might put on Amazing Animals after this, just for shits and giggles.
In the dry Ice Age climate, the vast Amazon rainforest died out, to be replaced by grass. Without the cover of the forest, a few monkeys survived and adapted to life on the prairie.
I thought for a split second that these fucking things were wearing pants. Keep in mind, I have not seen any of this. This is my first time watching this. yeah, no, they do look like they're sporting some denim. God, where's fucking Hun Schwen when you need him? Double caked up on a Wednesday night.
But there are predators here as well.
Really wish I had the Chocobo theme on my soundboard right now. Yeah, no, it's just a fucking... it's just Monster Hunter.
Killers.
Oh, hold on.
Killers.
Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. You dum-dum. Me want gum-gum. Fucking... people of Congress have not been taking good care of themselves, clearly. God, there has a bit of Joe Pesci in there, you're right. Do we look like clowns? Do we amuse you? My word. Oh, God. Can we just appreciate this squashing melon sound effect here? Thank you very much for taking care of that, Crochet. But, yeah, no, fun fact, I'm relatively certain that was the exact same sound effect that played when, spoilers for, the Les Mis movie, Javert jumped to his death. And they just played that sound effect. In fact, let me double check. I need to fucking see. Let me see here. All right, let's give this a watch and a listen. Yeah, no, it's... Let me set it up. Listen closely. Okay, so not the exact same, but in the same family.
Permanent spine damage.
I mean, that's being optimistic, Nicholas.
In North America, what was once the huge, fertile agricultural center is now a barren, cold, windswept desert.
I mean, this looks about right for California. The optimistic take would be they did. Honestly, yeah, no, you raise a good point, Cochet. But, hey, Arizona, nothing. This is fucking Death Valley. This is shit that exists now. Like, once again, uno momento. Hey, this is just a place that exists in modern-day California. In the middle of it. It is called Death Valley because it is the, if I remember correctly, the most consistently hot location on the fucking planet. Like, let me even just double-check the fucking facts on this. Here we are. Death Valley is a desert valley in eastern California in the northern Mojave Desert, bordering the Great Basin Desert. It is thought to be the hottest place on Earth during summer. The current official highest registered air temperature on Earth, 134 degrees Fahrenheit, recorded on July 10th, 1913, at Furnace Creek Ranch in Death Valley, Eastern California, the United States. Yeah, this is just where the fuck I grew up. I mean, I grew up technically further north from here, but you see what I'm saying. Like, yes, the Pacific Northwest is in, like, a perpetual harvest season because of just all the shit people grow in California, specifically. But once again, them saying that this will only exist 5 million years from now? My guy. Also, I'm pretty sure 5 million years from now, most of California is going to be under fucking water.
Armored rodents, rattlebacks, struggle to find enough to eat, scratching for roots and tubers. Their digging disturbs strange underground creatures. Sphinx, flightless birds.
You know?
Eventually, the Ice Age will pass. Greenhouse gases from volcanoes will warm the Earth, and the ice caps will melt completely.
And this is looking a bit more like modern day. Suddenly we're in a Western.
100 million years from now, the Earth is much warmer than today and has been for millions of years. The sea level has risen, covering much of the low-lying areas of land.
And now people too. I do believe all of this is based around the premise of what if humanity just fucking up and did not exist anymore. And I already have my own sort of candidates in my head as to who might sort of slip the fuck into that role next. I mean, obviously there are potential candidates with the chimpanzees and bonobos, like octopi are a big candidate up there, maybe dolphins, since they can technically travel more. Dolphins and octopi. Oh god, I mean, like, I would prefer it be the bonobos over the chimps, I will agree. Unfortunately, we are probably not going to be that fucking lucky.
The map of the globe looks completely different due to the movement of continents and the rise in sea level. These shallow seas support a very strange creature, the ocean phantom.
I mean, that's just a plus-sized man-o-war, my guy. I know I've talked about this before, but if you ever encounter a Brazilian man-o-war, do not. That's the end of that statement. Just do fucking not. That's a Bjork music video. Also not wrong.
It is not one animal, but a colony of creatures that work together, feeding on swimming sea slugs, reef gliders.
Damn. Big old crane game.
Around the shores of these seas are huge swamps, and this is where life has really changed. Over tens of millions of years, new creatures have evolved. The giants of the swamp, Torotons. They've evolved from tortoises.
The adults are enormous, the biggest animals that have ever walked on the face of the planet. 120 tons. That's bigger than even the biggest dinosaur.
I mean, yeah, you weren't wrong, Nicholas. It's just fucking Gamera. For the uninitiated, Gamera is a giant turtle kaiju who was made by the Toei studio in an attempt to cash in on the popularity of Dai Studio. My apologies. The creation of Dai Studios in an attempt to cash in on the popularity of Godzilla, the product of Toho Studios. Was the head so small? Why you gotta be so insensitive, Gaucher? That's my question. But, well, yeah. So honestly, you have no room to talk. That's all I'm saying. But, you know what? Fuck it. It is, in fact, on a whim Wednesday. I am going to bring up more videos on a fucking whim. Let's see here. So if you're at all curious as to what Gamera is all about, well, more specifically, Showa-era Gamera, allow me to present to you one of the greatest scenes in cinematic history. What do you mean how weird this is? Just going for the gold. As you do. That for me is sort of the Gamera equivalent of the flying drop kick from Godzilla vs. Megalon. It's just one of those moments that will forever live in infamy.
In the dark, murky waters of the swamp, the lurkfish senses its prey by electricity. Then kills it with a shock of over 1,000 volts.
I mean,
the lurkfish's prey is a swampus, an octopus that can live on land. They communicate by changing color patterns on their bodies. But if the warning flashes are ignored, a swampus can attack.
it does kind of like a Star Wars alien. I mean, honestly, this is all just shit that modern cephalopods can do. Like, this is shit they can do now. Like, communication via changes in skin coloration. Like, walking on land specifically. Like, there are entire species of cephalopods that can just do that shit and more. Like, well, once again, I want to direct your attention to one of my favorite fucking animals on the goddamn planet. And that is... let's see here. The cuttlefish. It does this shit to hypnotize its prey. Stun them into standing perfectly still. And then just smacking them up for lunch. This is a real animal that exists now. And that's some sci-fi bullshit. If you ever want to take a wild guess as to what aliens might look like, just look in the fucking water. That's all I'm saying. If these things are anything like the blue ring octopus.
The swampus has a bite so poisonous it can even kill a Toraton.
I mean, yeah, case in point.
In the hothouse climate of 100 million years in the future, much of the land is covered in forest. Even the continent of Antarctica, which has moved off the South Pole. Over 100 million years, Antarctica has drifted as far north as the tropics. The seabirds that once lived on Antarctica have also changed into small, colorful flutterbirds.
Love these fucking hot dog trees.
And
clearly made of paper mache.
Bird-eating insects in this forest. But although the falcon fly attacks some birds, others can defend themselves.
You know?
These insects, spitfire beetles, have another way to attack flutterbirds. They cooperate.
Ha. You know? Damn.
To survive in this crowded future world, many creatures have formed strange partnerships and alliances. Living underground, the very last of the mammals.
Did you see the swinging forest squids? It shows... I mean, we saw the fucking... what do they call them? A swampus? Like, the fucking cephalopods that can take down dinosaur-sized tortoises, rather. Also, hello, Alex. Thank you for joining us. Also, pause Did you say the last of the mammals?
Living underground, the very last of the mammals.
That is a bit of a stretch, my guy. Why the future wild, though? Good fucking question. Next fucking question. Again, this is all speculative evolution. I can understand, like, taking some creative liberties and trying to imagine a handful of potential outcomes, but mammals disappearing off the face of the earth entirely within the next 200 million years? Like, I am not entirely certain that's realistic. It's possible to... Well, I mean, even then, there are ocean mammals you have to take into account. My word. Anyway, let's hear him out. Let's hear his fucking case.
The poggle. This small rodent lives in the caverns of spiders, feeding on the seeds that the spiders have collected. But the spiders are farming the poggles, then feeding them to their massive queen.
You know? No, Jerry.
There's been a hothouse world for millions of years, constant and unchanging.
No, I don't believe this is David Tennant. It's some other General Brit. For a little reminder, this was recorded back in 2002. Doctor Who, with Christopher Eccleston, did not make a comeback until 2005. Hence the limitations in the visual effects here. Which, again, they're charming enough, they're silly enough. This isn't meant to be taken all that seriously. I mean, I will say this, as far as the whole no more mammals things go. You act like David Tennant wasn't acting in 2002. Well, he wasn't as well known as he is today. I'll say that. But, in terms of, like, evolutionary success, quote-unquote success, meaning that you can just thrive regardless of, like, the circumstances, arthropods like insects, arachnids, crustaceans are essentially the most successful group of animals on the fucking planet in that they're fucking everywhere. Like, regardless of where you are on the planet, chances are there is at least one arthropod or another living there. In some way, shape, or form. So, I could see there being, at some point in the future, colonies of plus-sized spiders farming mammals. I mean, it may seem far-fetched, but keep in mind, there are colonies of ants that do undergo or undertake agricultural practices. Like, they farm aphids. They farm fungi. Thinking that being on a speculative fiction animal planet specializes in something like... Well, again, we'll see who it is in the credits. I can tell you with, like, 99% certainty this is not David Tennant. Because I have heard David Tennant in nature documentaries. In fact, one moment, to prove a point. Let's see here. If this is the one I'm thinking of...
Such is an invitation to get to know each other.
This is David Tennant.
But is it all too good to be true? The great silverback. He won't be so easily impressed.
You can clearly hear the Scottish accent in this dude. Return to monkey. Didn't have my argument because he's literally nobody. No, I mean, that's just it. Like... Yeah, whereas this guy is very much clearly, like, actually English.
But the forces that created this world will also destroy it. Volcanoes become more active, spewing out poisonous gases and clouds of dust, and wiping out most of life on Earth.
Ever the optimist. I mean, here's the thing. This may seem dreary, but, like, we've faced multiple mass extinction events before in the past. Like, people tend to only think of the massive death following the Cambrian explosion, and then, obviously, the end of the dinosaurs some 66 million years ago. But, like, we've been faced with so many fucking mass extinction events. Like, you would be fucking floored. Like, let me look up the specific details here. Pesky Death Stranding in 2020. Yeah. So, according to this page specifically, there have been 5 mass extinction events as we come to think of them. So there was the late Ordovician mass extinction. So about 444 to 445 million years ago. One from, well, I mean, you guys can read. Suffice it to say, many major events in which, yeah, no, shit happens. That's just the long and short of it, Alex. Let's see. Research completed after the seminal 1982 paper has concluded that a 6th mass extinction event due to human activities is currently underway. And yeah, no, that is more or less true. So many species have disappeared forever because we've just fucked around and found out. And again, ultimately, what a mass extinction event means is just a massive fucking drop in biodiversity, to the point where entire ecosystems are thrown out of whack, irreparably. And a good chunk of that in recent history has been directly due to human intervention. Or even as a result of ripple effects that stemmed from human intervention. Less than 100-ish years, we've been clearing Earth like it's going to... So, you know, exactly. That is exactly the point, Alex. I mean, here's a prime fucking example here. Everyone remembers these funny little guys, right? And the thing is, we don't even remember for sure what the fuck these things looked like. We have artistic renderings of them, but we don't know exactly how accurate those renderings are. But yeah, no, the Holocene extinction is in fact ongoing. And it is all the more reason to be aware of the ripple effects of humanity's presence on this planet. And even just taking into account humanity not being a factor, species will inevitably go extinct. Regardless of whether or not we are here. We're simply speeding things the fuck up. And I have brought up this fucking specific case before, but fuck it, I will do it again regardless. So one example of an animal that just went extinct because it also fucked around and found out. Let me see here. Is the Irish elk. Now, for the uninitiated, The Irish elk is a species of animal that literally fucked itself to death. It was a victim of a trend in evolution known as runaway sexual selection, wherein a very specific trait is chosen during mating season to the point where that trait gets exacerbated because it gets chosen again and again and again across countless generations. In the case of the Irish elk, all the female deer were choosing the male deer with the biggest antlers. And because they kept doing that again and again and again, eventually the antlers on these elk got so fucking big that the deer started dying the fuck off before they could mate because the antlers were too cumbersome. And because of that, this species went extinct. It'd be the equivalent of if human beings started only going for partners with the biggest fucking schnoz. Just like economy-sized noses. And people kept saying, oh, I want to go for that person. They got the fucking... the nose the size of a fucking aircraft carrier. And that happened again and again and again, until eventually people's noses were so fucking big that you were basically dragging around the collective weight of the elephant's foot on your face, and you could not function, let alone reproduce. And imagine that happening at the level of an entire species. That's what happened to the Irish elk. So, yeah. Special loss, mass extinction, it is all inevitable. Because that's just how fucking life works. However, we're not doing life any favors by speeding it the fuck up with our own stupidity. My point here is, even though this looks like a bit of a far-fetched exaggeration, with life being wiped out by volcanic activity, it's happened before, it will happen again, which is all the more reason that we should not be so vastly irresponsible with the time we have here on this planet, so that at least some of the shit that was here before us sticks around. And that when these inevitable natural mass extinction events happen again, we will not be responsible for species that could have stuck around no longer being here. Anyway.
Every once in a while, the biology of the world is punctuated by a terrible event. Often external, sometimes erupting from underneath the seas. Those terrible environmental events wipe out 80%, 90%, 95% of the species in the world, and they're called mass extinctions.
There you go.
Only a few animals will survive this mass extinction.
When you have a major environmental perturbation like huge volcanism, none of those organisms that have evolved for that preceding 100 million years are in any way adapted to deal with this. The environment shifts. It becomes potentially cold, dark. Volcanoes can create a variety of environmental shifts. Only those organisms which by chance can survive under those circumstances are the ones that are going to live through to the other side.
And once again, I appreciate that he is stressing this aspect of evolution, because a lot of people see evolution as a sort of like gradual, like, or just immediate generational thing where like, oh, like suddenly things got hotter, so because of that, the animals evolved like less hair to adapt. That's not how evolution works. How evolution works is that the animal's lucky enough to have some genetic traits that by sheer dumb fucking luck manage to help them pass their genes on to the next generation under those extreme changes in their environment, will more than likely have those traits passed on to the next generation, and they will, again, become gradually more expressed as time goes on. Once again, sort of the Irish elk effect, but, like, not necessarily to the point of harming the species' chance of survival. Like, let's say things get extremely fucking cold. Like, Again, another Ice Age level of cold. And there is a species of, I don't know, hairless rodent. If there is by dumb fucking luck a random mutation in which one hairless rodent has just a little more hair than its siblings, and so it is just a little more adept to the cold, and it gets that chance to breed, chances are, even if that ends up being a latent gene, a recessive gene, that's passed on to the next generation, recessive genes do get expressed if given enough generations. It's like when you get that random, like, redheaded child in, like, a family of 5. It's not necessarily that, you know, mom and dad had some sort of illicit thing going on. It's more like sometimes there's specific traits that will just pop the fuck up randomly in our genetic coding that's been latent there for quite some time. That can come down to a number of different factors. Like, there are specific genetic traits known as epigenetic traits that will literally only be expressed under very specific environmental circumstances. Like, even after the organism has long since come into being. Like, and sometimes it can be a behavioral thing, sometimes it can be like a visual thing, just something that randomly turns on because of a very specific set of circumstances in the environment. And we still don't know all the details on epigenetics. It's just one of those things that I also just find endlessly fascinating, because we may have mapped the genome, quote-unquote, but there's still so much about our genetic coding and the capacity for genetic expression that we are looking into. And once again, it is all just dumb fucking luck, sometimes, what animals do and don't get to pass on their genetic material. And with enough time and with enough luck, those traits will, in fact, become exaggerated to the point where they may be the very thing that animal or life form is known for.
After a mass extinction, the world is full of new opportunities for evolution to exploit as nature repopulates the planet.
If nature is perfect and knows exactly how to balance itself without any human intervention. I mean, here's the thing. Like, yes, humans can help repair things, but those things humans try to repair are usually shit that they fucked up to begin with. And, like, nature is far from nothing is perfect. Nature, life, the universe, it's all one big chaotic mess that we are just trying to make some fucking sense of. Create some order in. However, the methods by which we try to categorize and structure have to be complementary to the inherent chaos that we are living in. Human beings tried to build shit. That shit will inevitably break down because of the inherent nature of the universe that is entropy. Which basically just means that the laws of physics, as we know them, favor the disassembly of structure. Again, it's like building a town on a fault line. That shit isn't going to stay there. We can try to learn from the movement of the continents and the tectonic plates and better adapt things like settlements so that they can shift with things like the shifting tectonic plates once fault lines get moving. But again, this comes down to us not having a explicitly stiff rigidity to the ways in which we try and organize our lives and organize the lives of things we want to preserve.
In the third time period, 200 million years in the future, 100 million years after the mass extinction, life has bounced back.
There you go.
But 80% of the planet is a desert. And that's because most of the land is a long way from the moisture of the ocean.
In 200 million years' time, the continents will once again come together to form one huge landmass. This has already happened in Earth's history. 200 million years ago, the continents were fused into one huge landmass, which is called Pangaea. So in 200 million years' time, we will have a new Pangaea, a new supercontinent, surrounded on all sides by ocean.
You know, the funny thing is, like, I read a bunch of science books as a kid, which should have been the first of many warnings. But, and I forget exactly how I learned about Pangaea. But one of the means by which I would just every now and again be reminded that Pangaea was a thing was a specific commercial. Let's see here. Trying to find it. Ah, yes, here it is. Yes, this was from 1999.
Earth has 7 continents. How were they formed? Mr. Carl!
Well, there was this one big hunk of land.
Wish the beach weren't so far away. Mama, something smells cinnamony. It's my sweet new Cinnacrunch Pebbles. Cinnerific taste with a bit on the Sweet crunch, eh, Bon?
And so, thanks to new Post Cinnacrunch Pebbles cereal, part of this good breakfast. The beach is a lot closer.
Yeah, I mean, leave it to late-stage capitalism to give us some nuggets of wisdom. No pun intended. The pun was absolutely intended. Yeah, no, the fucking stock ow sound effect was a bit of a gem in and of itself.
The global ocean stretches for 20,000 kilometers. But there are no fish anywhere in the surface waters. They all died out with the mass extinction. Instead, there are silver swimmers.
Once again, I'm not entirely certain how I feel about the prospect of all fish dying out, depending on the nature of this mass extinction event. Because keep in mind, shit's still in our oceans that we previously thought had died out along with the dinosaurs. Sharks, crocodilians, things like the coelacanth. That's all been there for millions upon millions of years. And there are a lot of species that have changed relatively little over all those countless millions of years. Now, mind you, I am no ichthyologist. However, I like to think that a big contributing factor as to why we still have as many oceanic species as we have from back then, or even just aquatic species from back then as we do now, is because the changes in environment within our oceans have been relatively minor, comparatively minor, when looking at the other example of changes on land. Again, take what I say with a grain of sea salt here, but I think that when you look at the changes in terrestrial environments and compare them to the changes in aquatic environments, that they've been a bit skewed in severity. Now, mind you, changes in our planet are happening that are affecting countless numbers of oceanic species. I mean, look no further than the Great Coral Reefs, for example. However, when you consider just the depth and the heights of changes when compared to terrestrial and aquatic species, I think it's safe to say that the loss of all fish as we know them, well, again, it depends on how we think of fish, because even the word fish has a broad spectrum of interpretation. Like, when I say, you know, starfish, cuttlefish, or a sea bass, just because something has fish in the name doesn't necessarily mean it is, like, a fish as we like to think of it. I mean, are dolphins fish? Are capybara? You know, that's a fun little tidbit that I think I will also bring up that I'm not sure everyone knows about. Let me see here. Beavers are fish for Lent. Ah, yes, here we are. So, picture, if you will, a bunch of people in South America, a bunch of, like, avid Catholics, just cruising around South America, and during Lent, you can't eat fish. These are assumptions I am making. I have to remind you, I was not raised Catholic, so I'm just guessing based on what little I have heard about this type of thing. But imagine, if you will, a bunch of hungry people in South America. Or, in a way, it's that you can only eat fish. You can't eat meat. I think that's what the whole thing was. Basically, yeah, you can't eat meat during Lent, and you're getting desperate. Suddenly there's an economy-sized guinea pig swimming in the water. And you get this sort of Saturday morning cartoon idea of, hey, this thing's in the water. If you give us the green light and saying it's a fish, can we eat it? And then suddenly the Pope is, "Aight, bet." And so for the longest time, I'm not sure if it's still a thing, because again, I am not a religious person, but for the longest time, the Vatican categorized capybara as fish. For that reason and that reason only. So again, what is and isn't a fish can come down to interpretation, but again, loss of fish as we know them, I'm not entirely certain, Chief.
Instead, there are silver swimmers, evolved from microscopic plankton. There are thousands of different species.
Yeah, no, these are straight up silverfish.
And silver swimmers are preyed upon by completely new creatures. Flish. 200 million years from now, in the absence of birds, they rule the skies. Beyond the mountains that stretch down the coast of the supercontinent, most of the land is empty.
He called them flish, as in flying fish.
Flish. 200 million.
Let's look back at this as well, by the way. Now that's a face for radio. Give us a kiss, precious.
200 million years from now, in the absence of birds, they rule the skies. Beyond the mountains that stretch down the coast of the supercontinent, most of the land is empty. But there are very isolated oases where water reaches the surface. Here, garden worms bask in the sun. But their enemies are on the warpath. These are pterobites, evolved from termites.
These are just Pokemon names at this point.
They attack the garden worms with elaborate chemical weapons. Which animals survived the mass extinction was simply a matter of chance.
That is how evolution works.
Left alone, with enough time, even a snail can evolve to live in a desert. This is a desert hopper.
You know?
It lives on the scrubby desert plants.
There are several jokes that could be made with this design. I will leave them up to your imagination.
But not everywhere in this future world is desert. In the northwest corner of the supercontinent, moist winds from the global ocean have created a forest where it rains every day.
You know, this just looks like the Pacific Northwest. This looks like just where I lived for my grad studies.
The mass extinction left a land almost empty of life. A new opportunity for bizarre new creatures.
No birds, huh? No birds at all?
There are fish living inside the forest.
Oh, I see.
And lichen trees 10 meters high that are descended from the tiny lichens that encrust rocks today.
Now, you'll notice, by the way, that despite all of these massive changes, there are still ferns. I mean, that shit is also realistic, along with the fucking redwoods. Because both ferns and redwoods have been around since the time of the dinosaurs. And again, examples of terrestrial life that have remained relatively unchanged. At least as far as we like to think of them.
Lichens that encrust rocks today.
Oh.
Most bizarre of all, an 8-meter high, 8-legged squid.
There's the fucking Pacific Northwest tree octopus. There's the big boy himself.
A mega squid. And a totally flexible, bone-free body would be perfect for life in the treetops.
That's just a Dalek, my guy.
Squibble would be even better at swinging through the branches than today's gibbons.
I take it this is what you were referring to earlier, Alex? Oh, my word. I mean, again, keep in mind, I referenced the Pacific Northwest tree octopus earlier, having never seen this shit before.
But the idea of squid swinging through the trees 200 million years from now, is it really feasible?
Never seen a tree octopus? Yeah, I know. You've never seen a tree octopus? Yeah, exactly. Tree cephalopods. What time to be alive? I mean, that's just it, man. Like, there are specific species of cephalopods that are specialized to fucking walk on land. Let me see if I can find the specific clip I'm looking for. Here we go. I think this is the one.
Northern Australia has the highest tides in the tropics, which expose vast areas of shoreline. And here lives a truly extraordinary species of octopus.
I love the theremin.
Octopuses are marine animals. They live and breathe underwater. At low tide, most octopuses would be imprisoned in their rocky pools. But this is no ordinary octopus.
Going for a casual stroll. As you do.
It's the only one specially adapted to walk on land. It pulls itself along using the hundreds of tiny suckers that line its arms.
To give you an idea of how sophisticated a maneuver this is, like, I forget where I specifically heard it, and again, take this with a grain of salt, but I believe I remember hearing that octopi technically have roughly 9 brains. 1 in the head, and 1 in each of its tentacles. And when I say brain, I don't mean necessarily in the same sense as we have a central brain in our central nervous system, so much as this thing has pieces of its body that can act independently of itself. Like, if a single tentacle gets chopped off of an octopus, that single tentacle will still hunt down food, kill it, and then try and bring it back to a mouth it doesn't realize it no longer has. That is an aspect of intelligence we take for fucking granted. People like to look at human beings and think, oh, we are more evolved than other animals because we have the buildings and the maths. That's not how evolution works. We're not more evolved than these animals. We just evolved differently, and thus have different types of intelligence to work with. This is a form of intelligence that cannot be understated. The lad is, in fact, cooking. No pun intended, yet again. So again, when you look at that, and then see a hypothetical species 200 million years from now that can swing through tree branches, it's really not all that far-fetched. Bugs do that too. If you decapitate a wasp, then the body will still pick up food and try to eat it. Yeah, no, again, arthropods are very successful animals. I'm gonna head off for the night. I'll check the series later. You guys have a good one. Well, thank you so much for coming by, Nicholas. It was a pleasure having you as always. I'm not entirely certain if we are going to be visiting the rest of this series. This is just sort of the introductory episode to the entire series. I mean, I might end up doing the rest of this maybe as a reaction series for, say, I don't know, maybe Time Capsule Tuesdays. I just felt like doing this because I felt like it. If I decide to eventually make it a whole reaction series, then, you know, it's ultimately going to come down to one factor, and that factor is my YouTube VOD going to get flagged for this? I mean, we will see. Like, I've really only had one VOD that's been blocked in literally every country under the sun, and that was the VOD from my reaction to the day the sky exploded of all things. So, again, we'll play it by ear. But thank you very much for coming by, Nicholas. I think we only have just a couple of minutes left. I mean, less than a couple minutes.
We can't be 100% sure that this is exactly what an animal will look like in the future, but we can be sure that as long as new environments continue to open up, as long as animals continue to exist, as long as there's still food for them to eat and air for them to breathe, they're going to continue to adapt and change. And the sky is the limit. There are no limitations to what animals can do in the future.
All these organisms are plausible. Are they going to happen? We don't know, but they could, and that's part of the beauty of it.
So join this scientific voyage through time to see one possible future for planet Earth. It's a voyage that's scientifically feasible and truly wild.
Couple minutes of video left, 45 minutes into oh yeah, no, like... I mean, that's just it. Like, if you're coming to these streams, you're coming to watch me make an ass out of myself. For reasons I will never understand, but I am relatively certain that most of you are here for me, being me at this point. At least I would like to think so. God. It's so weird to think that, like... Because again, I grew up loving Discovery Channel and Animal Planet and all these various fucking shows because I was fascinated by animals. I wanted to learn as much about life, the universe, and everything in it as humanly possible. There was a point in my life where I wanted to be a paleontologist. There was a part of my life where I wanted to be a herpetologist, someone who studies reptiles specifically. There's a point in my life where I wanted to be a chef, and that does involve having a keen understanding of all the various types of proteins and ingredients you would need, and you'd need a base knowledge of biology in order to understand all that shit. There's a time in my life where I was part of 4-H, and thus I learned a lot about agriculture and a lot of the animals that we tend to rear with agricultural practices. What about Zach's totally awesome guy? There's Discovery Kids. I don't remember that one. However, what I can show you was a series that I absolutely loved as a child. And this might be the thing that ends up getting this VOD flagged, but fuck it. Let's see here. Let me see here. Alright, here we go. So, this is going to be a little peek into my childhood, and thus, we're going to need to change the formatting. I would like to introduce you all to Henry. Yep. I had the feeling some of you would recognize this.
Welcome to the world of amazing tropical birds.
Is it a bird?
Of course it's the bird episode 2. Of course it's the bird episode, Koshe. But yeah, no, this was my fucking jam back when I was a child. Circa 1996. I love... We are aware that you love Bird, Koshe. But yes, this was episode 1, season 1 of Henry's Amazing Animals. And this was predominantly my source of animal knowledge growing up. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to get a flag from the Disney Channel for this, because Disney was the channel that was airing this series at the time. But, Eyewitness... I didn't watch Eyewitness. I'm aware that it had a sort of similar opening and presentation, but this was the one I watched as a child. Yeah, no, I do remember seeing that opening. Funnily enough, I think the one and only time I saw the Eyewitness opening was on a fucking highlight reel of a Buff Pup stream. And I believe her quote was... I think it was someone in chat, like, why do I do and do not remember this at the same time? Like, a lot of nature not even nature documentaries, but, like, nature shows around this point had very similar aesthetics with the openings, whereas, like, a blank white canvas or a museum or some place where they just wanted to fuck around with the computer graphics they had at the time and implement as many... It was like opening... the latest issue of Zoo Books and having all the animals explode out in front of you. Never had the cool science teacher in elementary school. Sadly, no. Sadly. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. I did have my 4th grade teacher specifically. Was pretty cool. And we had some cool, like, science lessons with her. But I digress.
Is it a plane?
Hi, Henry.
That's just Henry as the dog of wisdom. Hapapaka. Hapakapakapaka. Scholastic Utopian. That sounds about right.
You better be careful, Henry. Flying can be difficult if you don't know what you're doing.
I'm a natural, like a bird on the wing.
A natural, huh?
Uh-oh. Oh. Excuse me.
Henry, are you okay? Henry? Henry? Ah, glad you could drop by.
Speak for yourself. Who's that?
Just one of many amazing tropical birds.
Well, I'm an amazing tropical lizard, so there.
I do appreciate how they fucked around with the stock footage of these birds with like I guess, yeah, no, this would have been before green screen. I guess this would still be blue screen technically. And their implementation of just these random fucking birds around with this graphic of Henry here, it always amused the hell out of me growing up.
Well, Henry, you are pretty amazing, but...
What have they got that I don't?
Lots of things, Henry. Beaks, feathers, and a whole assortment of shapes and sizes and colors.
Are these all tropical birds?
Yeah, and one thing they all have in common is feathers. All types of feathers.
Ah, my word.
Hey, let me see you shake a tail feather.
This baby booby is learning about preening.
2 sentences you can't really say in good conscience these days. Damn, Henry. I knew you were kind of a dick, but I expected better from you on the Disney Channel.
Excuse me, pruning?
Preening, when birds clean and take care of their feathers. Look at these crowned cranes. Like all tropical birds, they live in an area of the world known as the tropics.
Where's that?
Well, you've heard of the equator.
I love their music.
No, Henry. The tropics are the hottest places around the middle of the Earth. They can be steamy rainforests or dry desert.
Oh.
And even African grasslands. These tropical regions are home to all kinds of amazing birds. Birds classified as tropical birds.
God. I forgot about these animated sequences. My word. These are typical Looney Tunes shenanigans. I'm gonna be honest. I've never been a fan of the aesthetic of birds whose designs sort of rely on the beak being a nose. It ends up making these things look more like goblins than birds. I mean, I get the mentality of it, like the reasoning is just, I am not a fan.
Here's an especially beautiful tropical bird, a cockatoo.
Cockatoo schmuckatoo. I can be that beautiful.
Tropical birds are well known for their beauty, and many of them...
Ta-da!
Henry!
What a bozo! What a bozo! What a bozo! Beat it, bird! I'll take over from here. Hey! Hey! Hey!
I love that they made use of the same fucking recording of him saying hey, which is... Probably they didn't mean for it to sound like it, but... I mean, it was clearly the same recording, but also plays into the whole parroting theme here. Also, we're 1 second away from a "he's right behind me, isn't he?" moment.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest lizard of all? Oh.
Damn.
Tropical birds aren't conceited, and they don't look the way they do just to be vain. Take these flamingos. Do you know why they're pink?
To match their eyes?
No. It has to do with food. The hot, salty lakes they live in are teeming with little pink shrimp. The flamingos eat the shrimp, and that turns their feathers bright pink.
That's amazing!
Their beak is specially adapted to keep in these small pink creatures and filter out water.
They sure are graceful, like flamingo dancers!
I will say something I always found fascinating about flamingos is they essentially have the same feeding method as baleen whales. It's one of those instances of... I mean, it's not... I'm not sure if this would necessarily count as convergent evolution, but having a beak... Because if you look close enough at, like... Oh, wrong thing to close down there. But if you look close enough at a flamingo's beak in comparison to a baleen whale, let's see. Yeah, they have very, very similar structures. Let me just pull up this image here. Once again, wrong fucking button. There we are. It is fascinating how often life just sort of ends up mimicking other forms of life. I mean, the obvious example being the independent evolution of winged life in birds and bats. And it's something that I am very happy has been picked up and explored with the Pokemon franchise, for example, with the likes of Diglett and Wiglet. And like Tentacool and like Toadschool. Like, it's just random instances of, okay, this thing that has nothing to do with the other thing just kind of looks like this thing because. Can't I look that way, but you nothing but you. I mean, funnily enough, Alex, I think I remember there being a cartoon where there was an episode all about this one motherfucker who ate so many carrots that his skin started to turn orange. Romans loved eating flamingo tongues. I think the British crown also has... I mean, well, the British also likes eating jellied eels and beans on toast. So... again, interpret that as you may. But, yeah, again, it is just fucking fascinating how often life will just end up mimicking other forms of life without even trying.
Flamenco.
Gesundheit. No pretty flamingo.
It sure isn't. It's a marabou stork.
So why does he look the way he does?
You're not going to like this, Henry.
Uh-oh. Is this where I have to close my eyes?
The marabou stork usually eats dead animals he finds lying around, but he just can't resist the occasional bit of fresh meat. That's why he's come to this weaver bird's nest.
Shame on you!
I told you before, Henry. Animals don't have much choice. They have to eat what nature provides.
I guess so. But why doesn't their mom do something?
She doesn't have much choice. The stork is more than 30 times her size. The best they can do is hang their nest at the end of thin branches that heavy predators can't walk on.
Ooh, it's an ugly job for an ugly bird.
Henry, marabou storks look the way they do because feathers on their head would get all gummed up from feeding on dead animals. And the head is one place a bird can't reach to preen.
I've always appreciated the way this show sort of stressed the fact that animals that rely on predation for feeding aren't bad. They're not evil. They're just doing what comes naturally, as is the demand of their specific environments and the tools they were given from birth. Bald ass. Yeah, you're not wrong. But, like, again, this show always stressed that, even with Henry being highly opinionated about what was and wasn't acceptable morally for these animals, it was just, this is what nature does, dude. This is what they kind of have to be in order to get by.
How about macaws?
What about your cause?
Macaws, Henry. A kind of parrot. And they're vegetarians.
Why are they so colorful?
Those bright colors help them see each other against the dark green leaves of the rainforest.
That's amazingly illuminating. Excuse me, are they eating dirt?
Well, yes.
Why?
Well, the dirt contains chemicals that help them digest some of the natural poisons in the plants they eat.
It may be dirt, but it looks better than broccoli.
Henry, many animals have their own medicines, just like they have their own food.
All this talk of food is making me hungry. What's he gnawing on?
It's chalk, Henry. It also helps them digest.
Hey, I'm walking here. Part of this nutritious breakfast.
Henry, where are you going? I want to talk to you about the birds and the bees.
Let's not say we didn't, okay? Okay, my guy. Ah, my word. Again, all of this is very Hallmark E-card core, and I kind of love it.
Henry, where are you going? I want to talk to you about the birds and the bees, and the flowers and the trees. See, you've got the idea. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes, well, you know how it goes.
A baby chicken.
No, Henry.
I know. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes baby carriages and all that stuff. Oh,
right.
No.
Me too, bitch. Once again, bald ass. Weak ass birds need to chew on chalk to digest food properly. Weak sauce anyway is gonna take my nighttime tums. I mean, yeah, honestly. Again, I do not mean to be this prophetic, but if you will recall earlier, I made a reference to birds of paradise and the various methods through which they attract mates through displaying their colorful feathers. Ah, my word. I blame Lorelei.
These tropical birds use their feathers to attract a mate.
There we fucking go. I got you, Blue.
When you're one of the heaviest birds in the world, like this Cory bustard, your display never gets off the ground.
Strut your stuff.
You ain't seen nothing yet. This is the Jackson's widow bird, and it bounces.
Okay, I give up. What are they doing?
The males jump above the tall grass to show off for the females.
I think it's funny how birds have been tagged by humans objectively as having been shown to be more successful at mating because human bling is shining. Oh, yeah, no, that's just it. Like, there's so many species of birds that just gather random fucking shit, and it has helped them, like, succeed to the point of them kind of relying on the shit we leave behind. I mean, once again, I know this is me sidetracking, but I think you will agree that this is a necessity for the theme of this stream.
A nice stick. I like sticks. Pick.
Let me smash. Please.
No, Ron. Go find Becky.
You want some fuck?
No, Ron, I don't want some fuck.
I got you, Blue. Hey, girl. You want some tail? Flint.
Ron, your tail is small.
What? Swiggity sweetie. You want yellow. She doesn't want yellow. Blue and yellow, no.
Ron, I'm leaving.
What? No, wait, let me smash. What does my life come to? Becky thought my tail was big. Becky used a let me smash, but Becky is smashing Ben. Ben is a hoe. Heck. Fuck this next. Fuck that. I need you, Becky. Becky, let me smash. I'ma get that bitch a stick. Bitches love sticks. Wrong stick. Need stick, got stick, Becky. I got stick, let me smash.
A classic. Birds adding colored plastic trash to their nest for displays. Yeah, it is fascinating. Like, how much life has evolved specifically because humans can't take care of their shit. If I ever say let me smash, I'm expressly quoting. Yeah, no, same. Absolutely. I just kind of assume anyone who does say let me smash is, in fact, quoting this video. Or like the one that's like a bird doing a mating dance in a text speech. It's like, Henry, I want a divorce. God. People do get so creative with these. And again, they're fascinating fucking animals. They're just kind of fucking hilarious as well, though. Just the shenanigans that they will get up to. And it is essentially a form of culture that these animals are practicing. That we can't really hazard a guess as to how they came about. And so just looking from the outside in, we can crack jokes at how ridiculous they look compared to what we think is cultural practices, especially when it comes to, like, you know, passing on our genetic material or even just finding a significant other. But it's still fascinating that these animals have developed this fucking culture. Ah, my word.
And these sharp-tailed grouse are showing off in a different way.
All these things.
They're about to start the lek.
Lek?
Lek. It's kind of a special mating dance. He dances and displays in his own little area, defending it from other males until one of the audience of females is impressed enough to choose him to be her partner. Now these are lovebirds.
Lovebirds? I guess they're into PDA.
What?
Public displays of affection.
I guess so. They're called lovebirds because they're such loving birds. When lovebirds pair, they form long-lasting relationships. They'll probably stay together for the rest of their lives.
Ha! Kissing again!
Actually, this is feeding. The male feeds the female as a sign of his devotion.
I'm glad lizards don't have to do that. Where's she going?
To their love nest, I guess.
Isn't it romantic?
Fucking Mad Magazine ass hairstyle. Not hairstyle, just fucking... The animation style very much reminds me of Mad Magazine. You know, as you do.
And now, Henry's Amazing Golden Gecko Award for the all-time best amazing tropical bird. Third place and bronze medal goes to the Jumpin' Jackson's Widow Bird, our big-time bouncing buddy. Second place and silver medal goes to the toucan, who has a beak as long as its body. Useful for fruit picking on those hard-to-reach branches. But my Golden Gecko Award for the all-time best amazing tropical bird goes to the hornbill.
Why choose him, Henry?
On account of the fact that he takes extra special care of his mate when she holes up in their nest hole as protection against predators.
I do actually remember seeing a YouTube short nature documentary clip of this exact practice. Like, hornbills don't fuck around when it comes to ensuring that the nest is going to be taken care of. Their whole thing is like, I forget specifically if they mate for life. I think they do. But the whole means by which they ensure that the female is going to be alright and the eggs are going to be taken care of, they dig out a hole in a tree or otherwise find a hole and then seal the hole the fuck up with mud and clay to where only a tiny fucking opening is there. Just enough to where the female, who's gonna be in there for a long fucking time, mind you, can poke her beak out and be fed by the male. Like, she's not going the fuck anywhere.
She looks, stuck.
There you go.
She is. She's tending to her baby in there, and he sealed the opening to the hole with a protective mud coating. Mom and her chick only eat when he comes to feed them. He delivers around 300 berries a day. That's over 24,000 berries during the time she's walled up in that tree. He'd make a super pizza delivery guy.
Watched this documentary about bird mating dances, and they ended up Ended the doc by matching up a bird's mating dance to Cosmic Dancer by T-Rex. Oh, God. Well, I mean, no time like the present, Koche, honestly. My word. But yeah, like, I've always been super fucking fascinated with just the abundance of methods by which species will ensure their survival, or even just like peer protection methods. Because, like, I have always stuck by the sentiment that kindness does have a genetic basis, and it derives from the desire among a lot of animals to ensure that even if their own, like, genetic family does not make it through, at least another member of their species will. I forget the specific term for it, but it is a trait among a good number of animals to where even if they themselves might not make it, or another member of their very specific lineage, they will go out of their way to ensure that another member of their species survives. And I think it is just a more, like, broad range of special preservation that has been encoded in a number of different animals, and I'm pretty sure humans fall into that same category. Alright, there you are. Thank you, Koche. So, we have this song now. Of course. So let's see if I can go back a little bit and see how well this holds up with this specific music. Come on, you can do it.
I was dancing when I was 12. I was dancing when I was 12. I was dancing when I was out. I was dancing when I was out. I danced myself right out the womb. I danced myself right out the womb.
You know,
is it strange to dance so soon? I dance myself right out the room. I was dancing when I was 8.
Works better than I thought.
I was dancing when I was 8. Is it strange to dance so late? Is it strange to dance so late?
Alright. So I think before I get flagged for anything else. But yeah, I can totally see that. Oh, you actually found the clip. Yeah.
Take it away, Bob.
I was dancing when I was 12.
There we are.
I was dancing when I was 12.
I love the bandy cam.
I was dancing when I was out. I was dancing when I was out. I danced myself out of the womb.
Fuck it up. Fuck it up.
I danced myself out of the womb.
Some male Corollas never win the female.
Is it strange to dance so soon?
But Bob's chances are looking good.
I dance myself out of the womb.
And it's fascinating because, like, there's a number of different species of bird that will do this. Like, this exact specific thing where they'll clear a patch of forest, eliminate all leaves or twigs so that they will stand out the most, like, from the actual brown forest floor. Then they will ensure that the female is up above them watching, and then they will just bust it down sexual style, quite literally. This was the last thing I expected. I almost peed myself laughing. I don't blame you. But it's also just fascinating how much this happens among various species of bird. Mentioned clearing itself a little dance space. Yeah, no, like it is, well, once again, no pun intended, but amazing how often this pops up among the various bird species out there. Also, it's always interesting, now that I think about it, that this was always the segment of the show where Henry would suddenly show his chops as a biologist, as a zoologist even, and break out the hard facts. Whereas there'd be other sequences where he'd just make shit up, if memory serves.
And she's walled up in that tree. He'd make a super pizza delivery guy. At last, the day comes when Mom and Chick are ready to come out. It's a tight squeeze through the small gap, but she makes it. The first time she stretched her wings for 16 weeks. Time for a bit of preening. And she couldn't have done it without her faithful mate. And that's why the hornbill is my all-time best amazing tropical bird.
Where are you going, Henry?
I'm just dying for an inside peek at one of these bird hideouts.
Holes in trees are good, safe places for eggs.
Well, these 3 parrot eggs sure look safe and sound.
Climb a little higher and see what else you can find.
Green-cheeked I love green-cheeked conures. Like, they always struck me as just very, very cute and very, very... I don't want to necessarily say simple, but they definitely fall into the category of no thoughts, head empty when it comes to animal aesthetics.
Excuse me. Mind if I take a peek inside?
Holes are also a nice, safe place for babies.
Cute. Well, actually, they're kind of weird looking.
It'll be a while before they've got feathers.
I don't have feathers either. I guess that's why I can't fly.
You'll be all right. You're tough. Just like a bird's egg.
Excuse me?
Eggs are made of tough calcium carbonate, and it's not easy to break out.
Yeah, holes are great places for babies.
The birds prepare for real life. This baby plover can fend for itself within minutes of hatching. But in a dangerous world, it still needs all the warmth and protection Mom can provide.
I forget if this is the specific bird species, but I know there is a species of water-treading bird where, like, the distribution of toes on said bird is so wide that it can give them an advantage in walking on lily pads. And they also carry their chicks with them to the point where when they're walking around on the water, you just see a bunch of little dangling chick legs beneath them. And it almost looks like this bird has multiple sets of legs. I'm not sure if this is that specific species of bird, but...
These pelican moms all have their eggs and babies at the same time.
Is that a nesting colony?
You got it. But having all these babies here together means you need to keep a sharp eye out for predators, other animals that might want to eat them.
And it's hilarious, too, considering pelicans are some of the most aggro seabirds out there. Like, I mean, obviously there are far more aggressive predatory seabirds, but there is very little a pelican will not fucking eat. I'm sure all of you, at one point or another, have seen that infamous video of a pelican just eating a whole-ass pigeon. I googled it, and it's the jacana. Okay, that's what it was.
Like this guy, you mean?
Like this gull. He's looking to see what he can steal when the pelicans take their eyes off their nests.
Looks like an Elden Ring boss. You're really not wrong, Gaucher.
His eyes are sharp, and he's hoping for an easy meal.
Oh, and I think he's gonna find one.
Pelicans have to leave the nest sometimes to find food out at sea.
Uh-oh, bad timing.
This is what the gull has been waiting for.
Hey, this is no yoke.
Nobody's laughing, Henry.
A hummingbird.
Yes, Henry, that's right.
I know a thing or two about hummingbirds.
You do? Like what?
Like the fact that they have to drink half their body weight of flower nectar each day just to give them the energy they need to fly.
That's right, Henry.
I will say, one of the things I find fascinating about specific species of hummingbirds is that I forget if it's I don't think it's exclusive to the calliope hummingbird, but the calliope hummingbirds, as well as others like it, have this very specific method of attracting mates by which they will actually sort of stretch out the colorful feathers on their face and neck to the point where it kind of looks like a star shape. Like, let me see if I can find a good example of this. Let's see. And, like, they will do this shit mid-air in front of other hummingbirds. Yes, here's a good example.
Spring is the time to nest before the desert gets too hot. Both birds are looking for a partner. But the choice of mate will be hers. It's up to him to impress her. He moves in close, hovering directly in front of her, rocking his entire body back and forth in a display of flying prowess. Though his back shimmers with green, it's not until we get her point of view that we see his true splendor. He flexes the iridescent feathers of his mantle until they become a glowing mask of violet.
So, a fun fact about this particular species of hummingbird, or not even the specific species, but hummingbirds that can do this, like the calliope hummingbird. It was actually the basis for one of the Fakimon in the region Gaelic Knox and I have been working on for quite some time. And that example, if my computer will cooperate with me, is actually right here. So this is Calliope, and it is directly inspired by the calliope hummingbird. Like, when we were first finalizing the design, we didn't mean for it to have the cyan, magenta, yellow color scheme. It just sort of ended up that way. But, yeah, no, it is absolutely inspired by this method of attracting mates. Just that pure coloration. And it's why I ended up calling this thing the Little Star Pokemon. But yeah, it's just one more example of just how interesting these birds can get, and just stressing the question, why the fuck has there not been a hummingbird Pokemon yet? They're about as Pokemon-y as a bird can get. Ah, my word.
But when they've got chicks, they've got to collect even more. Wow! I'm surprised they have any energy left to hum.
Hell of a silly straw. Okay. So there's a lot. Fucking. I suppose this explains Donald's anger issues. 'Cause yeah, I'm pretty sure that's dead-ass just them using Donald Duck clips there.
Henry, it's time for your special report. Henry, time for your report. Come here. You are ready, aren't you?
Now?
We're waiting for your report about tropical bird eggs. You are prepared, aren't you?
Ah, yes, this was the segment I was thinking of. Just the part of every show where Henry would just spew a bunch of bullshit he came up with off the top of his head. Which, again, is interesting considering how knowledgeable he's proven to be in other cases. But, you know, kid show.
I'm very prepared. Tropical birds. Well, they've got feathers, wings, beaks, and... oh yeah, they lay eggs!
Excellent observations.
Everyone's a comedian. But do you know which tropical bird's egg is the strongest and the toughest in the whole wide world?
Actually, I do, Henry. Do you?
Well, it's not the hummingbird egg, is it?
No, it sure isn't. But that is the world's smallest bird egg. Want to try again with something a little bigger?
Just seeing if you're awake. The toughest egg in the world is, of course, the ostrich egg. It's stronger than steel, tougher than titanium, and even harder than a lizard's head. And that's hard. You can't drill it. You can't hammer it. You can't dynamite it. You can't even drop a house on it to break through its tough exterior. It's impenetrable.
If it's so tough, how does the baby ostrich get out?
God!
Oh, well...
I forgot about the use of claymation. You know, there's a part of me that's tempted to make this my fucking Discord icon. If for no other reason, just to fucking confuse the shit out of people. Mayhaps later.
He has a special tool. Yeah, that's it. He's got a diamond on the end of his cute little beak.
And gold tail feathers, Henry?
Actually, sometimes they do. But diamonds are the only thing harder than an ostrich shell. The baby knocks away inside the shell for about 3 years.
Okay, then how come you never see ostriches with diamonds on their beaks?
Remember when people were convinced that ostrich meat was going to be popular in the future? So, I mean, admittedly, I don't think I remember that. I mean, I do know there was a trend of a lot of people making, like, ostrich burgers and kangaroo burgers and things like that. Ostrich farms opened up in California, Nevada, and Arizona. That does sound like some California bullshit. so I don't doubt it, Alex.
That's obvious! After 3 years of knocking away, the diamonds wear out.
Oh, really?
Yes, and that's my report on tropical bird eggs. And that's straight from the lizard's mouth.
Do you really think anybody's gonna believe that?
Yeah.
You're right about some things. Ostrich eggs are hard.
See? I knew it.
Though not quite as tough as titanium. And not tough enough to stop this Egyptian vulture.
As in Egypt? With pyramids?
Yes, Henry.
He's gonna need a can opener to crack this, and everyone knows birds can't use tools.
This one can.
No way!
Sure. This egg holds more food than 24 hen's eggs. It's worth going to some trouble over. And this tawny eagle is waiting for leftovers.
Hey! He's throwing rocks at the egg!
Yep, that's the tool he's using. Ah, time for a bigger rock.
Smart chicken. Not much of an aim.
It's a vulture, Henry.
And again, this just stresses how intelligent birds can be. Like, people tend to look at corvids and think they're the only birds capable of tool use, and while that is one of the things they're predominantly known for, in addition to their capacity for mimicry, they're far from the only birds that can use tools.
Soup's on! And guess who's coming to dinner?
God. Damn. You know, I stopped hosting to that guy with the glasses for a reason. And yet here I am still haunted by the spirit of Dr. Insano.
Henry, is that you?
I'm scoping out the competition. Huh? Oh, boy.
What are you doing?
I'm not gonna be outdone by these birds. What have they got that I haven't got anyway? The myna. So he talks. I talk. And the Amazon is a pretty color. Notice any similarity to you-know-who?
What about this toucan?
Anything a toucan, I can too.
You know? Rip the Mina, best Twin Peaks. Oh, God, yeah, there was a Mina in Twin Peaks, wasn't there? Gosh. Rip to a real one. Also, thank you, Cochet.
Oh, come on back here. Quack, quack, quack.
What now? Duck calls?
And to top things off, I can quack like a duck anytime I want.
You really don't want to go anywhere near that thing, Henry.
Oh, Henry, you can't pretend to be a bird. You have to be born a bird. Look at these rhea.
Hey, the young birds are copying.
Just like many other birds and animals. Babies learn how to behave by copying their mom and dad. But they're birds, Henry. These rhea can't fly. They're closely related to ostriches, but they only live in South America.
Are there any other strange tropical birds?
Definitely. But here's one you won't believe.
Where? Hey, who let that chicken in here?
That's a tropical bird, Henry.
You need glasses. It's a chicken.
It's a jungle fowl, the ancestor of all our domestic chickens.
Hey! Behind you! It's a python!
The tropical jungle is a lot more dangerous than the hen house.
Oh yeah, this fucking bot is not letting up. I mean, speaking of dangerous places, thank you again for the other band, Cochet. It's just a baby.
He was nearly a finger-licking chicken sandwich.
Pythons don't have fingers, Henry.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe there are chickens in the tropics.
Oh, you'll find lots of animals where you least expect them.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3. That's right. And I bet you'd never expect a lizard could fly. But I bet I can. Want to see me try?
Henry, are you okay?
Of course, who needs wings when you've got your own personal helicopter?
I heard fucking K. Rool. Calm down. Henry needs a more supportive environment. I mean, yeah. He also just generally needs professional help. People talk about abused child actors all the time, but where's the love for Henry? And the neglect?
Happy landing, Henry.
God. This was a fucking trip down memory lane. Even this song is like... it's given me fucking tingles, man. The nostalgia is real. My fucking word. So, that was The Future is Wild and Henry's Amazing Animals. I really didn't expect to be visiting both. I had a tentative idea to visit one or the other at some point, but you know what? Double whammy, double feature. I suppose that is in the spirit of On a Whim Wednesdays, after all, the spontaneity of it all. But, I appreciate all of you who tuned in for tuning in. And, yeah. This coming Friday, you can expect a bit of the usual with another Spyro stream. I still need to decide on what I'm going to do for Sim Saturday, now that I think about it, but all in due time. In the interim, I do appreciate all of you humoring my newest hyperfixation with nature documentaries. I mean, once again, I have, for as long as I can remember, wanted to pursue a career in the sciences. Emphasis on sciences. And I always hope that, to one degree or another, everyone who tunes into my streams walks away having learned a little something. If that's something I can accomplish, then I'm doing my job. So, until the next time, take care, stay safe, and as always, please remember to fucking think.